out here stealing beats, man?
I mean, back when I did it, yeah. I mean, the original project was basically a dare.
The 5x5 Volume 1?
Yeah, Volume 1. He was like, I bet you won't. A homie of mine, this was around the time that Cipher was, this is 2017, so Cipher was turning 2 years old. He was like, I bet you won't drop a project for the 2-year anniversary. And it was literally 2 weeks away. I was like, yeah, like, why would I, you know what I'm saying? And I'm super hypercritical of, like, other music, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
other people's music.
Yeah, like a lot. I'm not impressed by a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I tell people I like your stuff, it's because I really dig it. Like, I listen to it and I'm like, yo, this is fire. But, like, I'm also not going to lie to you either and be like, yo, that was hot. And it's not to me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I was definitely just, I won't say I was scared, but I was kind of scared about putting music out because I was like, yo, if I feel that way about other people's music, you know, people might not like what I have to offer. And I know I'm not like, I don't do trap. I'm not doing no gangster stuff. Like, I'm talking my life, my experiences are just positive things. So, like, yo, in the spaces that I'm going, and I'm like, yo, I don't really fit into too many spaces. So,
I don't even like fitting in.
Yeah, that too. You know what I'm saying? So, he dared me. He was like, you won't do it. I was like, it's 2 weeks. So I let like a whole week go by. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, I got the track. I had the written the Dilla joint, the Find Love joint to the Dilla track. And then I had the like a standalone verse, or like, I guess maybe I'll call it a freestyle to another joint. I think my friend chipped in the one track that I was telling you about that had the sample in it. And then I'm trying to think what was on there. I think I either Jack or like somebody else gave me a beat and it was like one thing left. So I was like, yo, I'll put out 5 joints and I'll call it 5x5. It'll just be, and every time I drop, it'll be 5 tracks on like the 5th of something, or like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was just a thing. And actually ended up being like 3 years before I got into Volume 2 because I was chilling. But I think now, too, I'm realizing, like, and also I was thinking about the Tyler quote. Like, there's a clip of him like, yo, you got to promote your stuff, like, every day.
It's how the creator.
Yeah.
No, he was like, yeah, people will work on stuff for so long and then, like, promote it once. But it's like people, like, almost feel either too cool to promote their stuff or just, like, scared of how people will look at them. Like, you're like over promoting yourself, but there really is no such thing.
Yeah. So that first one, I was going hard when it first came out, but that was only like in hindsight, it was really only like the first, you know, couple of months or maybe a month or two, and then I just let it die out. And then the second project dropped, and like, I mean, I hadn't seen the Tyler quote yet either. So, like, the second project dropped and I was going hard. I was doing, like, Instagram lives. I interviewed my brother because he made all the tracks and we talked about everything we worked on. But I could have went harder. But lesson learned. But I don't know when I'll drop a Volume 3. I definitely haven't been writing lately. If anything, I've been, like, just typing up some of my thoughts on life experiences lately with everything that's been happening, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I've seen you've been doing a lot of those like little kind of like vlogs on Instagram where you're just talk about what's going on in your life, your physical therapy. So also 5x5 Volume 1, that one's on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Volume 2 is available everywhere.
On streaming, yeah.
On streaming. Was 5x5, was that your first time releasing music? Or did you have like singles out before that or what?
Nah, that was my first time putting music out into the atmosphere. And again, like I was like, like what am I, you know what I'm saying? I was shook. And like I said, the first one was a dare and the second one was like, I'm more comfortable now because the reception was good. And I think really it taught me a lesson that like people did end up rocking with the music, you know what I'm saying, or at least a song or two or whatever, but like they were supporting it because they rock with me as a person, you know what I'm saying? So I was learning that, you know what I mean, like, yes, the music needs to be good and everything, but too, like, if people know you and they know your story or they know what you're doing, they'll support, you know what I'm saying, in general. So I was getting love from that, and yeah, that's how that was going.
Yeah, I think that's crucial, bro, especially in today's age. People want to know who you are, and then if they like you as a person, then they'll probably support your stuff even more.
Yeah.
So okay, I met you. I really found out about you this night. It was like a month ago. What show was that at? It's at the place next to
It was
Peabody's.
at the Bunker.
At the Bunker.
It was the showcase that
I forgot who was it.
Tune and Brian. I forget what. I don't think they manage artists together, but they often partner up with their artists and put on shows there.
Yeah.
And I think that show was originally supposed to be, because it was supposed to be something in the water weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was the weekend Some in the Water was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Pulse Festival happened.
Yeah.
That showcase happened. And so I'm actually there with my girl, and I didn't know about you at this point. So we're just there watching a show, and you get on stage, and then you kind of talk a bit about your experience, which you had a stroke on performing on stage, right?
Yeah.
How was that? Like, so was this at one of these Cipher Tuesdays?
It was actually at the jam session.
At the jam session.
So Cipher I've been doing that for 9 years, about to be 10 years in May, right? And then the jam session, I just started it. It'll be 3 in December, so December 2021. And I was literally on stage in February. Like, it was crazy. The wild part is we had been building momentum. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was growing naturally. Like, originally it started as Slow Dive. Shout out to
the jams, the slow jam started at Slow Dive.
It
now
was
it's
called
80-20.
it was called the Slow Jam at Slow Dive, because I'm always big on like branding something or coming up with the name. So like I was really trying to develop the name for it. And my bad, I know you asked a question, but I always like talk like
no, you're good.
You know what I'm saying? The whole
you're
experience,
good.
but. I had the idea for it based on a jam session a homie took me to one time that I went to HU at when I was in New York. I was on the Lower East Side. It's a spot called Arlene's Grocery, and I don't know if they still do it, but they had a jam session called The Lesson. And so it was a MC hosting, and it was like some of the best musicians in New York City. Like my friend took me, he's like, oh, that's Jay-Z's the dude that he plays piano for Jay-Z, and this dude plays bass for Alicia Keys and all this stuff. So they have a house band, but the other players are just waiting in the wings, like backstage or whatever, and the host is freestyling and stuff, but he's pulling people out the audience. So I'm seeing that. This was years ago. I'm seeing that like, I don't know, 2013, 14. So fast forward to, I guess, 2021. I'm having conversations with Gabe at Slow Dive, and he's like, yo, you could bring your open mic here. And I'm like, yo, this space is not big enough. Like at the time, we were having a run and we, needed more space and all that stuff. And I was like, and there's no seating, but I was like, yo, I have a idea for a jam session concept. And he was like, word. And we started talking. He was telling me how he went to some jams in Chicago or something like that. And so he introduced me to Rasputin. And it was wild because I knew him already through some work I had done with Teens with a Purpose, but I never worked with him before. Like I had met him before, but we knew of each other, but I never worked before. So he basically made the introduction and pitched it like, yo, I'm going to help him get it off the ground. But this is,
So what's the idea for the slow jam?
So basically, it's a jam session. Like the difference between that and the open mic is that open mic, you sign a list and you get your 5 minutes of your time to perform with the live band or what have you. But the jam session is just more so catered to creating a groove, and like there's no sign up list. It's more so like I'm passing the mic around to my friends, like people that want to come up and sing and everything like that. Like we just try to have a continuous groove. Like the musicians set the tone. Like whatever they're playing, you jump in and get on it. You could freestyle or you could sing something and remix it to whatever they're playing. You know what I mean? And it's just like one continuous flow and groove. You know what I'm saying? So, it turns into a bit of a karaoke sometimes because people sing what they know. I try to encourage people to freestyle, but everybody can't do that. So they do what they're comfortable with. So we try to make them comfortable. Jam sessions, in my opinion or my experience, usually tend to be more like musician orientated, where like they're just collaborating and creating things, and going. But I think the difference with mine is that we try to get the people involved by passing them the mic and letting them come up and sing, what's on their heart. And You know, sometimes it ends up being a dope moment. Sometimes they pull out a song you haven't heard in years. They pull out, you know what I'm saying, a joint you might have remembered from when you were a teenager, and it changes the energy in the room. So, like, it's the energy of the band, and it's the energy of the people, and it's really dope. And now I think I've been talking about that, but I almost feel like I forgot what the question was.
No, you were explaining what the slow jam is, but also, so is it only vocalists that will get like interchanged, or what if a drummer comes like, I want to hop on the drums?
No,
like,
that was the thing. We invite musicians. They come up sometimes. It's so wild because in the beginning, like when it was at Slow Dive, I feel like musicians came in more regularly, and they still do, but now they'll chill in the audience and be enjoying themselves. But we want to be able to switch out the band or switch out members, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody brings a different groove, you know what I mean? We've had drummers, or, you know what I mean? Because I know musicians, like, grew up in the church and everything, so, like, you know, we all know each other. I used to sing in different choirs and stuff, so I know musicians, I know singers, so, like, when I put on these events, they do come out, and we just, you know what I'm saying, I want them to come up, and they do. So musicians are welcome, vocalists are welcome. That was the whole thing from the jump. I was like, yo, this is going to be a musical experience, but it doesn't happen unless you guys get involved. So I want vocalists, I want musicians, you know what I'm saying? If you could sing, if you could rap, if you play an instrument, come get down, you know what I'm saying? It's even to the point where, you know what I'm saying, like, people bring their own instruments. Like, I got a guy that'll come and, you know, bring his congas or whatever it might be and sit down on a chair and play the joint between his legs or whatever. And, you know, people might bring their own little triangle or whatever, and we just...
The triangle, though. Yo,
not literally.
What was that? What was that instrument called when we had DJ DC up here, and the one you put your hand in the hole? The French horn. Y'all had any French horns in there?
Yo, I want some horns. We get
bring the French horns out.
We get people people that play sax a lot. I get every now and again I get some trumpeters. One of my OGs from the Fuzz band came through and played trumpet, and that.
Bro, one of the coolest like random like just jam session link ups I seen. It was actually at Slow Dive before it closed. It was like. You know how at Slow Dive was majority like DJ spinning, like, and then they might have like a couple artists perform. Yeah. But this night it was like Sonny Moonshine on vocals. It was that dude Forte on drums. It was Scoozy on the saxophone, and who was on the guitar? He wasn't there. I forgot who was on the guitar. But it was just these four people. They know each other, but they're not in a band together, and they just randomly linked up that night to play. Dope. And it was just crazy.
Scoozy has come to Slow Jam. He's played there a couple times, and he did a feature right around the time he dropped that last project, the invite only joint. So that was the question you asked. You said, what's the difference or whatever? Like, it's a jam session, but I feature producers, or now I feature artists. Like, we did like the first year, almost into the second year, just featuring producers. So I would give them like a 20-minute set, and they'll play like up to like 5 snippets of beats, but the ill part is that the band will interpret it, like they'll listen to it live and then they'll play it back or remix it, and then we invite people to come up and sing on it, or, you know what I'm saying, rap on it or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying, that's dope. And then in the past like 6 to 8 months, like a year, this third year, we started featuring artists now. So like, I feature Scoozy, and a plethora of other people. Names are escaping me right now. But yeah, that's the difference. I try to add that element. So it's a jam session, but we also have a part where we feature producers and artists, you know what I'm saying, to showcase what they do. But the ill part is that it's up to you, but like hopefully you'll, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell them, like, yo, send the band your music, you know, my music director, send him your music. My bad. You good? Send him your music and they'll play your joint live. So if you've never rocked with a live band before, or if you have, you know, you get to rock with our band. Shout out to the fellas, because they're one of the dopest bands in the 7-5. So like, you know, you get to have your joint. Basically, you could do a live, you know what I'm saying, live cuts from your album and get your content or whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? I've had people do the feature, and like if they had a project coming out around the same time, they do like a listening party. That's what Scoozy did. I've had people that are MCs, but like they do something else. Like Vinny Del Sol did a feature, and he raps, but he did a DJ set as his feature, you know what I'm saying? Or like things like that. So it's like, yo, you have the whatever that window of time I give you is, you could basically flex it. You could do an album release, you could do cuts from your project and all those things. I'm sorry. And it's up to you, and it's a good time. It's like just a black ass event. I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody's welcome, but you know what I'm saying? It's just it's like a family reunion. Like we were doing like Soul Train lines and just all kinds of things. It's such a good time.
Yeah. Live music is definitely a really cool experience, and I always say, like, I feel like this area, just a regular like 9 to 5 people or whatever, they're not really, I think, accustomed to going out and seeing live music. Like all the furthest you'll really get is like karaoke night at a bar, or like a bar might hire somebody to come and sing, do some cover songs or something. People aren't really, I don't know if that hunger is really there yet for the everyday person out here. It is amongst the creatives, amongst us, you know what I mean? But I feel like they're missing out a lot. Like I think in Austin, Texas is one of the more, one of the places in the country where it's like a lot of live stuff going on, live comedy, live music. And that's like what people go out to see. Okay, so I do want to get to, so before we even get to, so you had this injury on stage and your life kind of changed since then. But before we get to that, you started Cipher Tuesdays, open mic. It's been like 10 years now going on.
Yeah, it's going on 10 years.
Maybe touch on just the importance of, or just why you started that, and maybe the importance of open mics in a scene and to like artist development.
Okay, so I'm a child of Fuzzy Wednesdays. The Fuzz Band, I don't know if you've heard of them, but shout out to my OGs in the Fuzz Band. They used to throw this legendary open mic called Fuzzy Wednesdays. I got put onto it in late 2009, 2010, and it was like I found my tribe. I found where I belong, because I was never a person like to go in a club or things of that nature. So walk in, it's a live band. I love live music, and then I'm hearing poets just spit, going crazy, MCs, singers, you know what I'm saying, and crowds cheering, blah, blah, blah. So I found my space, and at the time, the host was my big bro. Well, he later became my big bro, but Godchild the Omen, who's a staple in 7-5, you know what I'm saying? And
this was Fuzzy Wednesdays was in Norfolk?
Yeah, okay. It was, where it's not even Urban Outfitters anymore, but on Granby Street where the Urban Outfitters was.
So I'm not really too familiar with Norfolk, so I don't know where everything is, but I know where Granby Street is.
It was on Granby Street, but it used to be a bar back in the day called Time Lounge. Okay. And then when Time left, it became a clothing store, but it used to be a bar back in the day. And so he was hosting, and I slowly became a regular there, you know what I'm saying? In the beginning, I had my 1 or 2 songs. I was actually like diehard Christian rapper, like going hard, you know what I'm saying? Were? Yeah.
Okay.
So I used to get up there and, I used to take my songs but put it over what the band was playing. That really shaped my style. I'm getting off track, I apologize. But
no, you're good.
Long story short, Fuzzies, I'm a child of that. So that was like the gold standard. And 2013, 2014, going into 2015, my OG, he became like a big brother to me once I became a regular. And we kind of became peers, even though I'm still like, oh my God, it's really you. Like, I admire you. He's like, bro, we're peers. Like, we both do this. I was starting to host a little bit. And at that time, you know what I'm saying? He was like, I don't want to say he was in his prime, or, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to disrespect or nothing, but he was like everywhere. He was hosting everything. He was just like, yo, it's too many spots that want me to do this. I can't be everywhere. He was like, yo, check out this spot. Or whatever, and I went, and it was a spot I had hosted at before, because another friend had an open mic concept, but she didn't have a host, so I found I put a band together. People thought it was mine, basically, but it didn't last. With that restaurant, so it was a Jamaican spot. Shout out to Miss Wendy. I can't remember the name of the restaurant right now, but it was in that same space. So I met the new guy, and that's when I started Cipher in 2015. I think open mics are definitely a spot for development. Like, I've seen people build their show or build their stage presence, you know what I'm saying? I've seen poets go from they're shaking, you know what I'm saying, and voice trembling to like, yo, I don't even need the paper no more, just standing flat-footed and going ham, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely crucial to artist development as far as like, yo, building up your stage presence, learning how to rock a crowd and learning like, you know, where your bars are landing, like whether it's a poem or a song or whatever, like how to, you know what I mean, like crescendo and like bring it back and pull people in and get them involved and all that thing. So it's
crescendo
very
goes hard a
important.
lot. Yeah, I feel like even as silly as it sounds, performing your songs well is like slept on in 2024. I feel like artists will just go up and just play their actual song on the speakers and kind of just yell over their lyrics. And then like the thing is like the kids these days are just thinking that's normal. Like they never even experienced like a real live MC that's doing it like very well. Like they're going to shows, they're going to like industry shows where they're paying for like high price for tickets, and that's the type of performance they're getting. So like they think that's just normal. So it's like I don't even know. It's like you can't even. It's like how do you even tell them like that they're missing out?
Yeah, it's wild, and the you know what's the crazy part? Like I feel like in the open mic space, it's just a theory of mine, but like it's almost like high school in the sense of like every 4 years, like it's kind of like a new crop of artists rise up, or like you start seeing newer faces come on the scene and everything. So in those terms, I've been doing it for, you know, almost 10 years. So it's gotten to a point now where people are starting to like, big bro, you know what I'm saying?
You're the OG now.
Yeah, I'm
Q,
an OG.
What up, Q?
Yeah, so I'm like, at first I was like, kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, like we didn't say like how my OGs do me, like, nah, we peers, da. But like, it's a point where you start embracing it. And it was a point, I haven't been doing it lately, but it was a point like a couple years back where I started embracing it, and I started telling them like, yo, don't cuff the mic, or like, yo, your performance track should just have your ad libs on it or whatever. You shouldn't be rapping over the track or all of this. And they was listening, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is wild to see. And it hurts because I'm like, I'm not saying I know everything, but I guess
you know that though.
Yeah, I'm old school in that sense, you know what I'm saying? So I be showing, maybe I'm showing my age or something. I'm 38 now, but like.
Are you 38?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also funny. I say that all the time, bro. Like just how there's different eras of music, like just in the industry, there's different eras of Virginia music or 757 music. You know,
Yeah.
as we've been doing this for like 4 years now, the
Nice.
podcast.
Congratulations.
And then I've also been making music since like 2017 out here.
Okay.
Kind of on hiatus right now. I can play some shit after the show if you want to hear some shit.
Definitely.
I feel like you would like it because just listen to some of your music. I feel like you might like some of my stuff. But yeah, so you see people come and go. You see these new faces coming on the scene.
Exactly.
You see people going to open mics. Like they start out at the open mics. They're building their presence. They're building their performance. Then you start seeing them get booked for shit, and it's like you see the elevation.
Yeah.
We had Amelia up here, Capri. I don't know if you know who that is.
I know the name. I have had the pleasure of meeting her in person.
Yeah, she throws like a bunch of showcases and stuff.
Yeah,
and then so we talked about, and a lot of like, we were talking about more like showcases, and then the critique a lot of people have is like they don't want to perform for free, or they don't want to pay to be on a stage, or like they look at performing as just like a way to either make money or get exposure, I guess, but they're totally leaving out the development part of it.
Yeah.
Like how that's actually what you need as an artist.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear the argument all the time. I think I've always been a person, I was like, yo, I'm trying to bring you a higher form of entertainment. Like I've never done an open mic that I was personally hosting where it wasn't a live music element. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of got to pay the band. I kind of got to whatever. But, you know, people are like, yo, we're not paying to play all this. And I get it. But it's like, yeah, like you said, it's that piece where, yo, you got to develop your joint. And you can't get to the paid shows without putting in the work. Like, I think people want to like shortcut.
They want to skip all the steps.
Yeah, they want to skip all the steps and just jump to the thing. Like, and that's what kills me too. And even how you said like, yo, you see a lot of artists come and go, blah blah blah. I've seen a lot of open mics come and go in the time because people are doing it because they will either want to make a name for themselves, or they just trying to get in the space to, you know what I'm saying, like because they're popular around the area or whatever. Like. and their heart's not really in it. Like I do this. Like when I found it, I really was like, yo, this is where I belong, and that's why I feel like we're still standing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Did you imagine it still going on 10 years later when you started it?
nah, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I didn't. I just knew I loved doing it. You know what I mean? And what I've seen in the time we've been doing it has its ebbs and flows. There's been times where, you know, it's packed. There's been times where the joint was empty, but you paying your dues, you know what I'm saying? And also that I realized too that consistency is what kept it, you know what I mean? Because really before the pandemic, it was every week. You know what I'm saying?
Once a month now?
Yeah, it's once a month now, you know what I mean? Because initially when we came back, you know, there was that period of time where we still wasn't supposed to be having large gatherings. We were still doing like little secret shows, or I guess I was calling them secret shows, but I would post it, but I wouldn't put the location. I was like, yo, you got to DM me. We here. But I would limit the amount of people that could come in. So I was trying to keep people safe, basically, long story short. But yeah, that was a wild time too.
But even looking back just on the pandemic, it's like all of that shit was for nothing, bro. Like all the science is coming out now that the masks really didn't do anything. The vaccines didn't do anything. Like we could have been outside. They closed the country down really for no reason. They're all kind of walking it back now.
Yeah, it was a wild time to just see the streets empty. I remember I took I guess it was a China bus up to New York to Brooklyn to see one of my best friends, like a brother to me, and like getting out getting out of Port Authority at Times Square. Empty. And Times Square was literally empty.
I took a China bus to New York before too. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go back and forth a lot, or I have gone back and forth a lot.
That should probably seem like a damn zombie movie.
Yeah.
Like where the fuck is everybody at?
It was literally like time. You know what I'm saying? Like to look around and be like, nobody's outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, and that joint is packed with people, packed with homeless people. All of it was empty. Stores boarded up. I was like, yo, this is wild. Like, that was a really wild time, you know what I mean? But
I will say for me, the pandemic was a blessing in the sense that I don't know if I would have started my podcast without the pandemic. It really gave me time to sit down and think, and not only the time, but the money. Like I was on unemployment for like a year or two, whatever it was, and I really just invested all that money into this space and built what I needed to get going. So in that sense, it was a blessing. Obviously, a lot of people lost their lives and stuff like that. But no, it definitely was a historic time in the world. Like,
yeah, I don't think
that was the first thing I see. Yeah, you saw it?
I said I don't think we'll see that again.
I hope not. I hope not.
They
might be cooking that shit up somewhere in the back right now, like Corona 2.0 on the way.
Nah, I hope not. And you hear stuff about it, like this strain, the Omega virus. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, dog. Like,
bro, that was a prime example of like mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Off just news, like what you're seeing in the mainstream news.
The grocery stores, toilet paper. It was wild. It was a wild time. But.
Yeah, so toilet paper actually just started selling out. Remember recently when there was the strike? Was it a shipyard strike? What was it?
Yeah, it was like, strike? Get it now. And then
somebody was like, I don't know why y'all keep buying all the toilet paper because it's made in the USA. Like we don't have to worry about running out of toilet paper.
Right.
Okay, so we're talking about Cipher Tuesdays, Slow Jam at 80/20. So you're also doing, is this a different open mic, 25 mics at Down and Gross?
That is 25 mics at Down and Gross is a community open mic because Down and Gross is a community center.
I've been there one time. I actually performed at an open mic there maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. There's also a panel happening tomorrow night there. I don't know if you heard about that. Kello's gonna be on it.
Okay, yeah, Kello's everywhere. Kello's everywhere. I love that guy.
But yeah, what's 25 mics?
25 mics. It's a community open mic. I think they've been doing it there for about 7 years now. And another one of my OGs, like a big sister to me, shout out to Nina Bruton, was the host originally, and she would hit me up to host it when she was out of town for work and couldn't be there. And it, it was a paying gig, so she would let me eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she'd be like, yo, I'm gonna be out of town on this day, can you host? And I'd be like, yeah. And I would get paid, and I was like, that's cool. And then she ended up wanting to move to like DC, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, yo, you trying to host? And I was like, sure. And I've been doing it for 2 or 3 years now, or I think it's about to be 3 years. Time has really flown. So they do it every second Tuesday of the month. It's from 7 to 9. It's a free event. It's for all ages. We say family friendly because, you know what I'm saying, people bring their kids and stuff. And most of the time, it's usually all adults. So, like, if it's that space, you know what I'm saying, I'd be like, you know, do your thing, but, like, don't go crazy or whatever. But if it's kids in the audience, I just be like, yo, mind yourself. Like, edit your poem in real time or whatever. Like, respect the babies, you know what I'm saying? And it's a great time, and it's a nice little community of people that has been growing, you know what I'm saying, on and off. As open mics tend to do, they ebb and flow. So it's like, yo, some months, it's been sometimes I was hosting, it was like literally 40 people in there, close to 50 people, and sometimes it's just the core audience of people, like that 10, 12, you know what I'm saying, maybe 15 tops, but usually it's like a good 20 or whatever. And I feel like it's just a beautiful thing. Like, you start in all these open mics across the board building community with people, you know what I'm saying? People become regulars and you start recognizing faces and they're like, yo, I'm coming back. Like, and they come see you and they ask about you and stuff. So even with that too, I had to sit down this year because of the stroke. And the homies, one of my homegirls that was coming there regularly became the host, but also one of my friends that actually works there, he's a poet, he was hosting it for a time. I don't even know, so many like people just stepping in instead. So I wasn't there from February. I came back in October, like officially. Like, I started visiting probably a month or two before October, but October was like, all right, I'm back. But yeah, and the community was like, yo, we missed you. And it was like a whole moment, like, I walked in and they started doing the slow clap and everything. Like, yeah, and I was like, yo,
the moment at the bunker was crazy too, bro. Like, yo, you really got on stage and
I was just
told
watching
a
that,
bit of
like,
your story.
The day before yesterday, no lie, because I had the clip because I was gonna post it on TikTok, but I got like a couple
from the show that I was at.
Yeah, from the joint, and like that was wild too. And I think about that sometimes. Like, yo, if I hadn't had the stroke, like, would I have done that? But like.
No, to me, what resonated about that, bro, is I could tell that people really cared about you.
Yeah.
And that music and hosting these open mics and everything you do creatively, like, really is what saved you. Like, that gave you purpose to, like, really keep going and recover. Again,
building that community, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So when he was like, yo, I'm having this show, you know, like, he told me like a month or two before they had it, he was like, yo, I'm having a show, I'm gonna have a ticket for you, I'm gonna have a seat for you. I said, all right, boom, I'll be there. Because it was wild.
You didn't know you were gonna speak though.
No, I didn't.
I was
and
surprised.
it's wild because the first one he asked me could I host it, but at the time I feel like I wasn't in the right place. So I won't say I wasn't in the right place, but I was like, you know, some things you just got to do them for the connections and for like the potential or whatever, or just because it's good to, you know what I'm saying, build with people and start from scratch. And he wanted me to host it, and I was just like, what's the budget? You got a host budget? Rah, 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 rah. And he was like, nah, we don't. And he was like, I'm going to host it myself. And then like ended up being, I still went. He still gave me a ticket, which was a blessing. And it ended up being a live-ass show, and like Pusha was there and like all this stuff. And I was just sitting in the audience like, oh, what up, hosting?
Hold on, which show was Pusha at?
The first showcase that he did of that show, he did it as something, the first something in the world, or around that time, I believe. Okay. So yeah, I was just in the audience.
Well, I want to say I was at that. Was that one at the bunker too?
Yeah, it was.
I think I was there. It was like that Thursday or like right before Something in the Water weekend. Full Metal performed. Full Metal.
I can't remember.
I want to say I was at that one too. I didn't know Push was there though.
Yeah, he was sitting in the audience because, you know, he had around that time he had just signed Shaolin. So yeah, they was like, yo, Airway music artist Shaolin.
Push just started his grinding coffee.
Yeah, I saw that
LA.
Too.
There was a video of him in the back. He was like serving the coffee and shit.
My friend posted it, and then people were like going ham, like, yo, why you didn't do that in Virginia? And everybody's like, because nobody is going to support it or whatever. And they're like,
I would support. I love coffee, bro. I would have been in there. Now, if it was in like Norfolk, I'm not going to probably drive out there every day. But, you know, I'm going to pull up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a tea guy. I can't say I've drunk a lot of coffee in my time, but...
What kind of tea do you drink?
Yo, you with the questions, you on it. I like
I feel that was a simple question, but
it was. I know, but like, who asked that? Like, I said, I drink tea. What kind of tea? And I'm like, oh, I rock with Tezo tea.
Okay.
And like they have all the different flavors like hibiscus and like orange teas and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. I like a good like ginger lemon, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like just I don't know. I found a tea when I was in college and I have not tasted it since. It was like some kind of vanilla something. Like this shorty in the dorm made it and I was like, yo, I have not tasted that tea since. I don't know. I've been on like a subconscious search like when I'm drinking tea, like where is it? But anyway, that's
The
I'm
dorm room
getting off track.
cookups. You be seeing those videos of like the college kids cooking on the little hot plates like
Yo.
on their bed. Like cooking up like 5-star like seafood, like
Yeah.
lobsters and I'm like, bro,
Yo,
your bed
yeah,
look
they
about
built
dirty as
different
hell.
now. They built different now because you wasn't doing that back in the day. But
You was eating ramen.
you know what I'm saying?
My little brother girl, she on a little college ramen diet.
Yeah, it's like that
I'm like,
freshman
girl, you need to
15
eat.
is real.
Okay,
what
so
I'm
can you walk us through this injury? You're on stage, you have a stroke. Did you have any like pre or like underlying conditions that led to that? Like is this was totally out of the blue? Like what happened?
Nah, I mean, well, I'm a black man, so I think we are genetically predisposed to having high blood pressure. So that was probably in the mix. You know what I'm saying? It
But
probably
like you were
was.
healthy before this.
I was decent, yeah. I wasn't like having any problems. I might have, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I had a high blood pressure, but I wasn't outside of that, like, you know, I was able bodied and, you know, moving, doing my thing. And the night that it happened, like I said, I felt fine going in there, you know what I'm saying? And like, yo, show was rocking again. We had been building the momentum crazy. So it was literally like you couldn't move in there, like packed. And
At Slow Jam, 80-20 Burger Bar.
Yeah, 80-20 Burger Bar. Shout out to Sarah over there, you know what I'm saying? Emily at the bar, all the people. But yeah, it was rocking, you know what I'm saying? And I'm on stage. It's not a stage in there. They just clear out like a corner, you know what I'm saying? And we put the band in it. And so it's no like separation between you and the people. Like I'm standing here rocking the mic and the closest person I could like sweat on them. Like they come all the way up to you. Like they don't stay in their seats. And that's not an issue, but they come up. So I guess the sound man went to pass me a mic or he changed the battery and I'm right-handed, but for whatever reason, I feel like in my mind I went to reach for it with the left and I couldn't close my hand around it, like this hand. And I got the mic and I'm rapping or freestyling or we singing a song that everybody knows something and I'm in between the verses or the words, the chorus, whatever. I'm looking back at the drummer, my boy Wilkes, and I'm like, yo, something's wrong with my left side. And he's like, yo, take it. He's playing. We're talking like he's playing, and I'm in between the verse, whatever. He's like, yo, take a deep breath. Take a couple deep breaths, like calm down. I'm like, so I turn back. I'm saying the next whatever, and crowd, whatever. And I turn back. I'm like, it's not working. And so
What's not working?
trying to calm down or take a deep breaths or whatever. And so I turn back, I'm like, it's not working. And I'm trying to think about what to do because I don't know that it's a stroke at the time. I just know like, yo, my left side is starting to feel weird. It feels like my body's fighting against me. So it just so happened that the homie Teezy So Dope is like right here. Like she's at the front because I'm going in. So she's like, spaghetti. Like we going in. And I was like, Teezy, hold me down. And she's like, what? And I'm like, hold me down. And I just like thrust the mic, like, and then she takes it, she goes up there and she starts doing her thing. And I try to walk through the crowd and it's literally like, I'm fighting my body because I can't walk I'm trying to walk in a straight line, but my left leg is not cooperating. My arm's not cooperating. So I try to play it back in my head of like what it might have looked like to somebody like that might have been sitting down or even in the crowd, but probably not because there was so many people. But like once I got through it and came out, like what did it look like to somebody like me trying to walk? And it's so wild because I was at 80-20 yesterday for something and I was talking to her. I was talking to the homie Sarah, one of the owners, and she was like, yo, somebody said they saw you and it looked like you were doing a really bad dance or something. And we laughed about it, but I'm like, yo, it probably did look wild. And like, the homie came up to me as I was walking. He was like, yo, Q, you good? And he's like 6'2", 6'3", you know, like big guy. And I'm like, yo, I don't know what's happening. And he had on like a flannel, and I feel like I tried to reach up and like hold on to his pockets, and he kind of like he didn't pick me up or drag me or anything, but he kind of like had to help me move to a seat. And so I sat down. I don't know if you've been at 80/20, but there, like when you first come in, there's the podium and the guy that's at the door. And there's a little bench there. So I sat on the bench, and he's like, yo, what's wrong? What's going on? And people are asking me, and I'm like, I don't know. And at this point, I'm starting to apologize, like, because I don't know what's happening. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry. And they're like, yo, don't be sorry. Like, just, try to tell us what's happening. Are you good? And
is it starting to feel like progressively worse than when it first started on stage, or is it still feeling the same at that point?
I mean, when I was on stage, from what I remember, it was like, it wasn't any pain. It was just I couldn't function. Nah, not even numb. It was just like my body was fighting me. It wasn't working properly, so I didn't know what was happening. And then when I walked through the crowd, I really found out that it wasn't, my limbs wasn't working properly. And when I sat down, I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Something just bugging with my left side. And he just like took he took a minute, not a minute, but he took a couple beats, and he thought about it. He was like, you say your left side? And I probably was like, yeah. And he was like, I think you're having a stroke. I'm going to call an ambulance. Are you cool with that? I was like, yeah. He called them, and they pulled up like, it was almost instantly, like within like 3 or 4 minutes. And they checked me out, and they was like, yeah, you're having it. And then I ended up leaving. And
so you were still conscious when you left?
Yeah,
the
I was conscious when I left and everything. I didn't want to. I guess one of the last things I remember was hearing. I don't know what she was saying, but she was talking on the mic, like, because my thing was when it was happening too. I was like, yo, just keep the show going. I'm in my mind. I'm still thinking as a, curator, coordinator. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to keep everybody calm. Like, yeah, I'm not necessarily saying yeah, I'm all right, but I'm not like, like crying or sweating, like, yo, I don't know. But like, I was starting to get there, but I'm trying to keep people calm. So I'm like, yo, just keep the show going. And I remember hearing her say, like, yo, everybody just be cool. Q's about to, or no, I mean, because by that time, everybody saw the
ambulance pull up.
Yeah, the ambulance, like, or they heard it outside and they saw the guy wheel the thing in and put me on the stretcher or whatever. So she's like, everybody remain calm. And I don't know what happened after that. I got in the ambulance. Next thing I know, I was, on my way to the hospital. I don't know everything that happened after that. To my understanding, my girl tells me that, like, they wrapped up the show and everybody left from there and went to the hospital. So the emergency room was packed and everybody was in there, but, they didn't know what happened. And my girl actually wasn't there, and I think TZ called her and told her, like, yo, you need to get up here. Something happened to Q. And everybody was waiting in the waiting room and trying to figure it out. And I think they called my pops or something. And I ended up being in the hospital for 2 months. But that first night was crazy because they took my blood pressure and it was 200 something. It was like 242 over like something high on the bottom.
Like really high blood pressure?
Really high blood pressure. And they basically had to open my head to let some of the brain fluid out, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, from what I recall, it was like, yo, it's going to be touch and go for like the next 2 to 3 days. You know what I'm saying? We got to like really monitor him. Like this could be like make or break type joint. So they opened my head. They put a splint in it to drain some of the fluid to let the swelling in my brain go down. It was so high and everything like that. And luckily I made it through that. And I was in and out of it. And when I remember waking up because they were stitching my head closed. And I remember waking up in pain, like I was yelling and crying, and then I probably blacked out again. Like the next day or two, like they put like this mitt on my hand so I couldn't touch my head, and then they had a tube down, all this stuff, and people were coming to see me, and but the wild part was like I still have my memory and everything, so I'm calling people like when they see him in the room, like, oh, yo, what's up? Like not necessarily what's up, but I'm able to recognize people and things like that. So they were like, we feel confident about that, like you're good. But it was wild. It happened at the show, and I was in the hospital for 2 months after that. You know what I'm saying? Like had to learn how to, stand up again, had, all those things, learn how to stand. Like it was just wild because my hand, my arm and my leg felt like lead. Like I couldn't lift this hand up. I couldn't, do like that or touch my fingers, all these things. But they ended up telling me like it was a combination of stress and, like high blood pressure, why it happened. And the background of that too, maybe that was adding to the stress was like, not a lot of people really know that, but my mom was in the hospital too, prior to that with dementia. So that was like a big deal. And like our relationship is strained. So I was going to see her. I was working overnight, like 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. and then going to see her by like 9, 10 a.m. and staying there till 4 or 5 and then going home, taking a nap like for 3 hours and then getting up and going to work again. I was doing that like for like 2 or 3 weeks leading up to, when this happened. So that possibly, create added to the stress or whatever. And it was a wild experience. Just
How is your mom doing right now?
She's all right. She's in a nursing home on the Eastern Shore. I haven't been able to go out there personally yet, but my little sister goes and everything like that. So I probably got to catch them one time when they're going. But yeah, they were trying to find her somewhere on this side of the water, but all the beds and the different places were full. So the closest place they could get was the Eastern Shore. You know what I'm saying? But she's doing all right. It was just wild, visiting because like. Again, like I said, our relationship was strained, but like she was happy to see me. She was like, "Oh my God, baby, I can't believe you came." But like,
so she like still like remembers you and stuff.
Yeah, she still remembered, but like from time to time, she was locking in and like spazzing on me or like just having an attitude, and it just made things rough. But like the nurses would tell me when I came in, like, "Yeah, today she's a little this," like, you know what I'm saying, because she forgets where she is, and then you know what I mean. So just dealing with that, it was a lot, but just try to show up and do my thing as a son. Like, yo, I'm gonna be there. Like, even if we not getting along, like, you my mom. Like, I want to show up for you the best way I can as a son. So I feel like that was happening, and then it was some other things behind the scenes going on. I guess all of that contributed to it. But we're here now. You know what I'm saying? So
that's heavy, bro. They say stress kills.
Yeah.
Stress is like one of those things that it's like one of the biggest factors that a lot of people go through, like different sicknesses, different injuries.
For sure.
Like
for sure.
So you're in the hospital for 2 months. When did you? How long of that were you in bed? Like when did you actually stand up?
Like for the first time, it might have probably been like a month in, but like I'm standing up, but I'm not standing up on my own volition. Like they have like the safety belt thing around me. Like I'm working with the therapist, occupational therapist and physical therapist in the hospital, and they put the belt around you, and then they have to put their arm under your arms like this, and they help they're holding me up. So like the first time I did
looking back at the doctor like, no diddy.
You know what I'm saying? They're holding me up, and I remember the first time I did it, I was like, yo, you gotta take a picture of this, because my girl wasn't there that day, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to her. Also, I looked crazy because, like I said, they had to cut open my head, so I had like the Sherman Helmsley going on. They just
what?
Sherman
Helmsley. Where'd they cut your head at?
Like it was like this. So, and at the time I was growing my hair back out, so like I had like a fro around this.
They took that much up.
No, they just
shaved that part.
Yeah, they shaved this part. And I'm like, I don't know why they didn't just shave my whole head. So like,
bro, you're like a Manchurian candidate.
Yeah, I got a little scar right here now. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm looking wild or whatever. Like if I show you the picture, like you're gonna be like, yeah, I did look crazy. But I remember taking a picture and sending it to her, like, yo, I stood up today for the first time, or I did it a couple of times today for the first time. And then like after that, learning how to do that, and it was just wild because like it was so painful. Because I started, I didn't know, but I was developing a blood clot in my leg as well. So I was in a lot of pain, and
they had you drugged up a lot?
Yeah, initially, you know what I'm saying, from time to time, but yeah, it was just an experience, man. Like I don't wish that on anybody, and like when I finally did get out, I was like, yo, I never. If I can help it, I don't want to ever go back. You know what I'm saying? And the wild part was I've been back in the hospital twice. Like I got out, and like 2 weeks later I went back because the wild thing was like developed like the left side of my face would go numb. And it ended up being that I had a second stroke, but it was a smaller stroke, but it was deeper in my brain. So they taking CTs and they're looking like because I had a hemorrhagic stroke, so it was like I had a hemorrhage in my brain, so there was blood on my brain or whatever. And the second one I had, it was the one that was causing the facial, numbness. Like I'm talking to you now, on the left side of my face is numb. You know what I'm saying?
Right now.
Right now, it's now it's like a side effect. This doesn't mean I'm having a stroke every time it happens, but like my face is pretty much numb like all the time. I'm always in some stage of discomfort. You know what I'm saying? I'm just moving through the world. You know what I'm saying when that happens, but and like it kind of. I don't want to say it paralyzes my lip, but like from here over, sometimes when I eat, like the food will dribble or whatever. But still, just taking it day by day, man. I didn't mean to turn this part of the pod into like but I'm just trying to flip the experience into something positive and use it. You know what I'm saying? As inspiration for myself and for others, and also to encourage people like, yo, go get checked up, do your yearly checkups, go see a doctor if something feels funny. Like, don't wait. You know what I'm saying? Especially black men, like we, you know what I'm saying, have a tendency to not go to the doctor and things like we should. And it's like, yo.
Really, men, period.
Yeah, men, period.
Men just want to be
yeah.
like, I'm going to thug it out. Like, I'm going to just tough it out. I'm not going to go.
Bro,
I'm going to go to work.
Go to the doctor. And it's so wild because now I got homies that, really inbox me and be like, yo, before you had the stroke, did you feel this, and this? Like, and I'm like, nah, not necessarily, but go get looked at. You know what I'm saying?
They're trying to get
like,
you to diagnose them just over
yeah,
DMs.
like, because they're, you know what I'm saying? They get nervous, like, because I was relatively healthy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there was probably stuff going on the inside that led up to this, but just if you saw me every day, like I was moving, I would go to the gym occasionally, you know what I'm saying? I was all right. And then I'm performing, I'm doing all these things. And now, the first time I came back to the slow jam, I'm in a wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? I'm rolling in like I'm Professor X, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what
like,
was that? What was that first time back like?
It was it was wild. Again, like nobody knew I was coming, you know what I'm saying? I didn't tell anybody. I think I told the band, you know what I'm saying, the staff, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, I'm gonna try to slide or whatever. And the first time I'm rolling in there, you know what I'm saying, I'm rolling there with my one good hand in a wheelchair or whatever. And I get up and, try to sit in the seat, and, the homie put my wheelchair on the side or somewhere or whatever, and, like, people started clapping, and everybody's like, yo, cute, and everybody's coming up, like, oh, my God, it's so good to see you, And so it was definitely crazy, but it was, and it's also wild to watch, because the other beautiful thing is, again, I got to shout out TZ, because until I came back, she was hosting it, because, like, I would do the show and she would come through because she likes to jam or whatever as well. But like whenever she would take the mic, I would have a mic as well. And we would always had this like ill chemistry, like back and forth and like do it just, rhyming together. So I was like, I was definitely in a space where I feel like, well, nobody could really cover for me or do it. So what am I going to do? But like, then I started realizing that like, yo, TZ has it. And she could do it. And in some ways, rocking a crowd and things, she might even be better than me, you know what I'm saying? Or she is better than me. I can admit that. Like, and so she held it down. And she was like, yo, I got you. Don't worry about it. Like, we're going to keep it going. So, like, that was beautiful. And when I came back, she was like, yo, Q5's in the building, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, yo, hats off, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was lovely, you know what I'm saying? And over time, like the next couple of months after that, I kept coming back. But it was like, every month when I was coming back, I was showing improvement. Like, I came in a wheelchair the first time. The next time I walked in, I had my Hemi walker, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, it might have been, like, 2 months of that. And then the next time I came in, I was walking on my own volition, but, with my little limp or the way I walk or whatever. So, like, every time I'm, coming in, people are happy to see me or they start clapping or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And now it's, we here. It's kind of like normalized. But like, yeah, they've been showing love from the jump. But it was also wild to just watch, to see what I created and that it still could go on without me. Or, you know what I'm saying? My feelings wasn't hurting. And I was just like, man, I really want to be up there. But like, it was so wild too, because the homies was like, they let me touch the mic, but like my homegirl was like, all right, that's enough. And took the mic from me. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Like,
just wanted to rap, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was
wild.
on there like, yeah, she was like, all right. And she just did, it so smooth.
You couldn't rap or something?
Nah, it was like I could, but she was like, yo, we don't want you to have another stroke or like, you know.
She wants you to like exert too much energy.
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
like.
She was like, all right, like it's cool. Like, all right, you touched the mic, calm down. Like,
bro in the back, rap under his breath. I'm like, yo, that's funny.
Because but real rap, I was sitting there, it's like, oh man, I know a song that would go right here, like, or I know something that could fit right here. Like, I wanted to jump in, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to ease back into these things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, creating that open mic to a point where it can go on without you, but then also just seeing the impact that you left on people and they care about you.
Again, building that community and keeping it going. And I forgot to touch on that earlier when we was talking about the pandemic. Like, when the pandemic hit, I was one of the first open mics in this area anyway, to transfer to like Instagram. But you know, in the beginning, Instagram didn't have a bandwidth. Everybody was going live.
What do you mean the first open mic to transfer to Instagram?
When the pandemic hit and we couldn't gather anymore, I was saying like I was one of the first to transition to doing an open mic online.
Oh, like on live?
Yeah, on the live. But like that first initial time was right at the beginning, like that following week. So Instagram didn't have the bandwidth because everybody was going live, so it crashed. And once it did that, I was like, yo, I can never.
I think that's what Tory Lanez was fucking Instagram up. His lives was going crazy.
Yeah, that time period was just wild. So like, before they had the bandwidth, like I said, that first day I tried it crashed. So after that, I started doing it on Zoom. And we were building community on Zoom for like the next year. I did it every Tuesday. I would hold space for people to come. And you know what I'm saying? After the open mic was over, I would literally leave the Zoom open and just let people chat. You know what I'm saying? Because we needed that, you know, to the ability to talk because we're not seeing each other.
Interaction.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I always felt bad for kids that were in school at that time.
Yeah, it was
like
trash.
I mean, high schoolers too, but even at that point, you're a little bit older. But like middle school, elementary school, like you're really missing out on years of
trash. I feel so bad for them.
How we're talking about the artist development for like the importance of open mics and stuff on the scene for artists, like school and just going to school, interacting with people. Yeah, that's that social development. Like if you miss that, that's a big part of your upbringing.
And then
growth,
even like they doing drive-by graduations and you know
drive-by graduations.
Yeah,
they just the principal drive by your house, just throw the diploma in. Like, bro, I didn't see that. What is a drive-by graduation?
It was like the teachers would be outside like with their masks on or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like you literally are in the car with your family, like driving through, and you know they hand you a diploma type. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny. Yo, I mean, kids were already like this generation of kids was already socially awkward because of social media. Yeah. Everybody's just online. Like nobody's really talking face to face. Like nobody even knows how to have a conversation anymore. Yeah. As simple as it sounds. You throw the pandemic on top of that. Yeah. Throw everybody in their homes.
Yeah.
It really it could go one or two ways. You're in your house. You're forced to self-reflect and look at your life. Yeah. Now that could go for the positive, or that could just send you down a negative spiral.
Definitely. I mean, that was our 5th year anniversary, and the people in the online community was joking me because my Wi-Fi wasn't great. So one of the homies was like, yo, you could come do it at my house. I got good Wi-Fi. Like, so the 5th year anniversary, I did it at her crib, and she, you know, she had a good Wi-Fi connection, and she bought like balloons for me, like for the background and stuff. And it was wild, you know what I'm saying? But like that community has shown up and held me down like through the years and through the time. And like I said at, you know, the bunker, like, you know, it's always like a thing. Like I'm nervous every time I do a show because I'm always like, yo, is anybody gonna come? You know what I'm saying? Or is it gonna be good, et cetera? I'm overthinking it, you know what I'm saying? But the people always show up, you know what I'm saying? And even if it's one person, which it just happened to me recently, actually, it was like 1 or 2 people in the audience, maybe 5 people tops. Still got to do the show, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to be a short show, but we still got to do it. But the community has held me down personally. Like, I wasn't expecting that, you know what I'm saying? And they came out in droves. And like I said, I was in the hospital for 8 weeks and like maybe a week total, probably really like 4 or 5 days that I could remember anyway in total, like once I was up and conscious and awake every day, where I wasn't like sleeping the whole time, where like somebody came to see me. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't that much time that nobody was there. It was very, you know what I'm saying, very few days. And it was just a blessing, man. And like I've only been able to sustain myself up to this point because of community. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I'm still working through disability paperwork, all that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not working.
You haven't got disability yet?
No,
What's the holdup with that? Like, what's?
To my understanding, sometimes it could take anywhere from like 6 months, sometimes to a year for them to, you know what I'm saying, decide. But I've been doing the paperwork, or I thought, you know what I'm saying, some of the home, like my brother was doing it, and I'm not saying he didn't, but I had to like, I guess, restart the process. So, yeah, I've been going through that, just doing like packets and packets of paperwork. They want to know your work history. They want to know like.
What'd your doctor say about that? Is there any way he can like fast track that or something?
I actually had a doctor's appointment today. I was talking to the guy about that, and he was like, yo, we have like I don't think he said a caseworker, but it was something similar to that, like somebody that can help you with the process. So I'm going to look into that. But I got phone calls to make and stuff. But yeah, I needed to hit because, you know what I'm saying, like I don't want to keep, you know, hitting a community. I'm blessed that, you know what I'm saying, like they've gotten me this far. Like this happened in February. They took my homie.
Oh, so this was 2024.
Yeah, the stroke happened this year.
Okay.
Leap Day, February 29th, 2024. So, you know what I'm saying? This has been like 8 months, but like 8, 9 months, 10 months. But yeah, they've got me this far, like the donations, and then I did a GoFundMe and like, you know what I'm saying? So I've been straight, but like I'm at a point now where I gotta like, I need like day-to-day like funds or assistance, like things. But in general, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? For the moment, like God is blessed, so like I can't complain. But like yeah, I need that to hit so I could make sure I keep a roof over my head, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? But I'm working on it. It's a process. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'm making sure I do my part and trying to keep up with all this paperwork. So.
And I know like I see the videos on your page, like you're in physical therapy now. Your strength is just getting better and better.
Yo, crazy. You know what's wild? When I found out I could walk by accident, like at the crib one day, I was just trying, I was like, oh, I could, you know what I'm saying, I hobble along. So I was, you know, hobbling and shuffling in the crib, and then they suggested I get the Hemi walker because a Hemi walker is just a joint that you hold with one hand, and it has like 4 points of, you know what I'm saying, touch to the ground, you know what I'm saying? I probably could have maybe used the cane too, but they didn't suggest it, so I got the Hemi walker. But I couldn't do the regular walker because I can't hold on with this grip. Or like I would grip with this hand, but if I'm not looking down at it and making sure it's gripping, my hand will slip, and that puts me at risk of like falling forward on my face or something, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. It's I spent like, once I discovered I could walk, like I spent a lot of time, like the whole summer I was walking with my walker like every other day, just doing a mile, like just going down to the end of the block and then turning back around and going up to the other end, and it was like about a mile or almost a mile, and then as I was going, I kept doing a little bit more, and then I was like, yo, I'm trying to hit 10,000 steps for a day. So I was doing that and found out that was about 3 miles, you know what I'm saying? So that my leg is hella strong, got hella stronger, but I got to get my hand up to speed. So I got to, I've bought things like at the crib to do exercises with before all of this, but yeah, I just got to incorporate them more into my daily life. Of course, you walk at, you know, that's just, you know, I do it as a form of exercise, but naturally you walk everywhere you go. So yeah, the leg is there, but I got to get my hand up to speed.
I'll tell my shirt like, I got to grab as much ass, as much titty as possible. Just, you feel me? Just for this, it's a recovery. Don't trip.
Help me out, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, when you see me, nah, me chill. My girl went like that, but like, yeah. This is why I'm like, yo, when you see me, like, yo, let me grab something. Like,
hey, yo.
You helping my, you know, my therapy. Like,
nah, that's definitely fucking heavy, bro. I'm happy that you made it this far. seems like it's only going up from here.
Yeah, it's a blessing to still, you know what I'm saying, still be around. I think about that sometimes too. Like, yo, a lot of people don't bounce back like this. Like, it's people that have had strokes that like they can't talk now, or like their face is drooping, or you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, they just a lot worse off. And I'm like, yo, my memory's still intact. I could still rhyme when I, you know what I'm saying, want to. I remember songs, I remember lyrics, whatever. Sometimes I feel like I do have to think a little bit, like a couple extra seconds or something. And even like during the course of this, I've been talking and then forgot, like, what am I talking about? But I was just trying to play it cool, if I'm honest. But,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Or like, before I had to ask you what the questions. But in general, like, yo, I've kept all the functions. I just, you know, have to, this is my reality now. And this is so wild because, like, in the beginning, like, I was having that on a regular basis, like, damn, this really happened. Like, I would just go to do something simple, like, and go to use my hand and remember that I can't use it how I think I should be able to, and be like, dang, yo, this really happened. And, like, I got adjusted to that, but it still happens. It actually happened to me the other day. I was in physical therapy, like, yo, I'm doing like rehabilitation to learn how to, the mechanics of walking again. Like, I'm walking, but I'm not doing it properly because I learned how to walk, and I was walking for 4 or 5, 6 months before I actually got into physical therapy. So I picked up all these bad habits. So like now I'm trying to fix them so that, you know, I could get it together. So it's a million little things that I remember. Like even I had to ask you to open, can you twist the top off? Because when I hold it in my left hand, sometimes to go to twist the top, I'm squeezing it so hard that like I like, and the water comes out and I always get it on myself or whatever. So like I can't open a water bottle sometimes. So like, or I can't open my pill bottle sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Or like I wake up and my hand is too stiff or my fingers hurt too bad to even open a pill bottle. So like the 100 little things, I'm like, man, this really happened to me.
All the stuff that we take for granted.
Yeah, like,
a lot
yo,
of times.
I just started tying my shoes on my own. Like before this, like my shoes would be tied and I would just like put my foot in there and use the shoehorn and get my foot in there. But like I know how to tie my shoes now. But and that was like an accomplishment for me. That was major. I was like, yo, I can tie my shoes. Like, but this whole experience will teach you things like, yo, you got to cheer for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that people aren't happy for me or that they don't cheer, but like, yo, you got to learn how to really like rock with yourself and like give yourself grace and be patient and all these things, man. I've learned 100 things, you know what I'm saying, with everything that's happened. So I celebrate just everything, you know what I'm saying? And I just try not to take it for granted, man. Like, for real. Like, yeah, it's stuff you don't think about that you could do. Like,
bro, they say health is the most important thing, and it's easy not to think about it. When you're healthy, nothing's hurting you. You're just going through life, and you find other little things in your life to get mad about or that upset you. But then when you go through some pain, or even if you have a fucking headache, a toothache, just think like, whoa. This, like, those other things I was worried about really don't matter. Like, this is my body, my health, how I feel is really the most important thing.
On the smallest level, like, yo, when you get a stuffy nose, you think about all the times your nose was a stuffy. You feel me? Like, so it's the same principles. Like, yo, I didn't think about this. Like, yo, getting dressed. I, would just do it and get up and go out the door. Like, now it's a thing. Like, it takes me a while to get dressed now, and I gotta like put my effect. They teach you in occupational therapy, like, yo, when you get dressed, put your affected limb through the jacket first, because you know what I'm saying. Like, if I do my unaffected arm first, I'm gonna be struggling to get this one around. So, yo, put that one through, and then do this, and then like, you know what I'm saying. I'm putting my jeans on. I gotta put that leg through first because it's gonna be difficult. You know what I mean? So,
do you live with your girl? Do you live by yourself?
Nah, I don't live by myself, but you know what I'm saying, I'm renting a space I'm renting the upstairs of a friend's house. And that's another thing too. And they were super kind because when I came to see the spot, I could do stairs, but I need a railing to hold on to. And they didn't have one, or like I need a railing on my right side where my good hand is because I can't grip it with this one, of course. So they installed a railing for me. And it's on my right when I go up, but when I'm going down, I have to turn to the left and hold on to it and walk down sideways until I get to the part where the right kicks in, and I could turn and hold that. But yeah, the stairs is a thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to learn how to master that, but it presents a difficulty sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think about that. You could go up and down stairs with ease, but yeah, it's a thing. And I didn't really tell anybody, but I actually fell like 2 weeks ago. But I was okay though. I
Down
was
the stairs?
Yeah, I was not down. Like I didn't like all of that. But like, you laughing a little too hard right now. But I missed the last 2 steps because it was in the dark and it was like 5 a.m. and I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I didn't turn the light on that's over the stairs. So I know it's in my head. I know it's like 10 steps, but I got to like step 8. But like the stairs are wood and then the floor is wood, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I'm looking. And I'm like, it looked like the floor, so I stepped off like confidently, and then I was like, and kind of launched myself into the front door and hit my head. And like I got up and like I went to emergency room to get looked at because I'm on a blood thinner because of the clot in my leg. So they said, yo, if you ever hit your head or have some kind of head trauma, like yo, come immediately because you don't know if you bleeding inside. So I went and got checked out, and they did the scan of my head and of my neck, and it was like, there's no blood, and like your neck is fine. I knew I was all right, but I can't take no chances now. So like everything, I'm thinking about everything all the time, and like I've gotten a lot stronger, and I pretty much have like I won't say the energy I had before this, but I got a lot more now. I don't get as tired as quickly, you know what I'm saying? But there was a metaphor I saw that really kind of explained it. It was like this thing called the spoon theory. And it's saying that every day you got a certain amount of spoons. So say, like, for example, you wake up in the morning, you had 12 spoons for the day, but you know you got to shower and get dressed, and that takes 2.5 spoons or 3 spoons. If you have 12 spoons, you just use 3 of them to take a shower and get dressed. You know what I'm saying? You got 9
What do you mean by
left for the day.
spoons?
I mean, the spoons represent like the amount of energy you have for the day.
Okay.
So I'm saying, like, if I wake up and this day I feel energized, but I have 12 spoons, but I know I have to shower and get dressed, and it's going to take me 3 spoons. It takes a lot of energy, you know what I'm saying, in this body to do that. And then the lotion up and get myself dressed. I got 9 spoons, so I got to make sure I spread them out throughout the course of the day and use them accordingly, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to burn out quickly and then have to take a nap and recharge. But these days I have a general good amount of energy, but I still like might take a nap. I was asleep before I came, actually. Like earlier this afternoon, I probably slept from like 3 to like 5 or something. Then I got up and was like, all right, I got to, figure out, how I'm going to get here and what's going on and everything like that. But because I came from a doctor's appointment earlier, and even that was wild because I organized the medical transport, and the dude left. It was so wild because I just started using it this week, and you think it's gonna be like I thought like an ambulance was gonna pull up, and I didn't want to pull up anywhere and like I'm hopping out like an ambulance, but it's a service, but they do it through Uber, which is pretty cool. So, but the driver said he didn't see me, but I think I was by the hospital in Suffolk, but I wasn't at the hospital, but the address on the thing was saying it was a hospital. But I texted him, was like, yo, I'm across the parking lot at this other building. He said he didn't see me, so then I had to get on the phone and arrange another ride. It's a whole thing, but it's like pluses and minuses to it. Yo, I get good seats at the Norfolk when I go to concerts now. Like I just saw Lupe on Friday. Like
I saw Tyler was over there.
Real? Oh yeah,
Tyler
I was sitting beside him.
Yeah.
I was sitting beside him. Like when I walked up, he's like, I knew he was gonna be here. I was like, you didn't know. I was like, shut up.
How was that show? Like, bro, first of all, Lupe Fiasco has my favorite Sway in the Morning freestyle. You seen that one? When he was talking about like the birds and the beaks and shit. I forgot everything he said, but it was fire.
I probably gotta look it up because I know too. He did like a jam session on Sway in the Morning too, like a live band, and he was there freestyling. I think Rhapsody was there too for that one, but I gotta look it up. But it was great, and like I'm sitting like right here in the section, and Tyler's like it was like one person, and Tyler was right there at the end, and it was wild too because he went to say something between like the songs when it was kind of quiet. And Lupe, he didn't say shut up, but he was like, "Yo."
I saw him tweet that. He
was
tweeted
like, "Yo, don't."
like that.
He was like, "Yo, don't." He was like, "Yo, don't talk. Like, we don't do that no more." And then like he pointed to the audience because he was like, "Look, look, look," and it was quiet. And then somebody's like, "We love you, Lupe." And he was like, "See," like, so yeah, that was funny. But they call it ADA. I don't know what that stands for, but that section up there is basically like upstairs. like if you're looking at the stage, the left side where the left side speaker is hanging from the ceiling, it's like right behind that, like upstairs. So like I'm looking down, and he's like right there. It's pretty close. I'm like, oh, that's cool. As opposed to like when I wasn't handicapped, I was out there, and I would be out there in that sea of people somewhere trying to, you know what I'm saying, see over somebody that's 6 feet, and now I could sit right up on the, you know what I'm saying, ledge and put my arm up and just chill and look. But I don't know. I'm going off topic, but yeah.
No, like bro, like I said, when I seen you that night at the bunker, like I was inspired. Just you pushing through how the community stood behind you, and just what creativity and doing stuff like in the creative space can bring to your life, like that joy. Like it's not just about the money. Like this is a lot of people. We live for this shit. Like, this is what we do.
Nothing I've ever done. I won't say nothing because there's been periods where it was good to me, but in general, it doesn't make me any money. I really, or even the people I do it with, and I thank God for them, like they share the same passion, or like they rock with me enough to want to do it. But nothing I ever did was crazy. When I started the open mic, it was $5. I was doing it every Tuesday, and it was every Tuesday. So that's 52 shows a year for the first 5 years. And we only ever canceled it if like it was Christmas or something. Like we did a show on the 4th of July. Like 10 people came, but we still had it, you know what I'm saying, at the time. And shout out to Fortresses. I don't know if you ever heard of them, Fortresses.
Yep, Fortresses.
They were the original band, you know what I'm saying? And when the pandemic hit and everything, when we came out of that, I was like, yo, I parted ways with them, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I want to take the show in another direction. Then I got it with the current band, the Fellas. But yeah, Fortresses live every Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? All 100 of them on stage, you know what I'm saying? And we doing the show. A lot of them.
I think Kello's actually in Fortresses too.
He's not in it, but he performs with them. So yeah. But like if you perform with them, they consider you a part of the band. So yeah, not technically, but you know. Yeah.
No, that's fire, bro. Last question, really, coming from somebody we mentioned earlier how there's different artists, you know, on the scene that come and go. As somebody that's been on the scene for 10 years, you're doing open mics. Have you seen any development in our scene as a whole? Like, where do you see our scene right now, just as a whole, 2024? In my eyes, I feel like we have a real scene now. There's a certain like cohesiveness. There's a bunch of stuff going on. There's places for you to develop. There's you can get money, you can get booked for stuff. Where do you see the 757 creative scene at? How do you see it in 2024?
It's like the questions, man. Good stuff. I would say, well, first and foremost, like just doing an open mic, I do see musicians, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, artists like MCs and singers, but I see more of the poetry side of things. I will say that, like, from that I can answer, my experience caters more to that. There is a scene now for everybody, like, with the music, and, like, I love that, like, now you can see people putting on their own things, you know what I'm saying? People throwing their own little festivals and, you know what I'm saying, become a part of bigger things. And I think we have more say now in a lot of things. Shout out to Gabe, you know what I'm saying? He's always putting people on, and like they do a lot. Like they ask, you know, if you go perform at that open mic, it's a good chance they'll call you up when these, you know, these opportunities pop up and things of that nature. But I will say more so from the poetry side of things, like poets weren't included in a lot of these spaces, and now they're getting, you know, paid opportunities. They're also getting chances to perform at some of these festivals as well. So that's dope, you know what I'm saying? Things I haven't seen before. So from that side of it, which I have more experience with, I'm glad to see that, you know what I'm saying, it's growing and opportunities, you know, they're being considered and being treated as artists as they should have been this whole time, you know what I'm saying? And I want to continue to see that grow. But yeah, also the music scene is doing its thing, is getting where it needs to be. I think, you know, still has a ways to go, but we could go farther together. So, like, you know, I'm loving that I see a lot of people, like, working together, collaborating, or just joining their forces together to make something bigger and make something happen. And, like, I have faith that it will continue to grow, you know what I'm saying, as long as people want to perform, people want to, you know, show up, and people are doing the work and not taking the shortcuts like we talked about earlier. Like, yo, work your steps. Like, you can't just start a mic today and come out the gate and, oh, I'm going to charge $20. Like, stuff like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be an MC and you never developed or nobody's seen you at an open mic anywhere and you just think you're gonna jump up to paid shows. So like there are people that have taken the steps and they're reaping the benefits of their work, and that's good to see.
I see people also just finally realizing that we're not each other's competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can really come together, make a fire scene, and our competition is really nobody. But if you want to compete with somebody, it's other states. It's other markets, right?
Yeah.
Also, another cool, a really cool open mic for poetry is that, have you been to Venue on 35th?
Oh, yeah. That's where I got started.
Okay.
The venue's been around for ages, and it's so wild because I've been on the scene so long. People hit me up, like they be like, yo, where's the open mics at? And they send them my way. They be like, yo, hit Q5, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, on Mondays, like I said, the scene has grown and like ebbed and flowed. So like at one point it was something like almost every night of the week, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, now it might be just a few nights, but there was a period when it was like, yo, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every other Thursday, second Friday, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the venue is always the base. I always send people there first. I'm like, yo, get started there. Like, it's a small, intimate crowd. It's just you, the stage, and the mic. You know what I'm saying?
And their sound system is really good.
Yeah.
I performed there one time, I think 2021, and I was just surprised like how good the vocal quality was.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, it's the perfect place to work out new material. Like, before the pandemic hit, I was gonna get into comedy, bro. And like,
bro, we have a stand-up comedy scene too. We've had a couple comics up here.
Yeah,
like,
it's rocking. I know a few comics because they come to the open mic as well. They don't always show up, but when they do their thing. And I've seen comics like go on to like win at the Funny Bone and like, you know, go on to move away to Cali or to DC or something like that. And now they throw their own monthly shows and do things. But I remember when they was coming to my spot, you know what I mean? So just seeing growth in that way. But the venue, I always send people there. That's the base. I'm like, yo, start there. It's intimate. You could work out new material, you know what I'm saying? You could just try stuff there and like learn, you know what I'm saying, how to interact with the audience, all that stuff. And then I'd be like, yo, after there, you know, before, like I said, I used to be every Tuesday. So I was like, yo, then you could come to my spot on Tuesdays if you want. And then I'd be like, yo, here, and here. But the venue is the spot. And I've probably been going to a venue since 2010, 2011. I've seen it through now 3 hosts. Like my man Verse used to host it back in the day when I first started going. But George Mendez was the host for like 10 or 12 years. He just stepped down. And now it's a new young cat. His poetry name is Professor Samay, but his name is Samay. And he's he's dope. He's a poet, an MC, musician, all these things. But he just started hosting. I haven't had a chance to go yet under his, you know, reign. I don't want to say reign, but under his, you know what I'm saying, being over it. But yeah, George has been like the staple guy, and the venue is a beautiful spot, man. It's somewhere to really like just go and like feel the love. I remember going to it, and back in the day, it was really like eclectic. Like, yo, mad different types of people would go there, and it was but also sometimes it would be like 10 people, you know what I'm saying? But I've also been there on nights when you couldn't get in the door. You had to sit outside and wait till the intermission for some people to leave to get in, you know what I'm saying? 40 people signed the list one time at the venue. I've seen that. So like open mics have the power, you know what I'm saying, to do great things and to give people that space to be able to, you know what I mean, like grow, socialize, and like develop their artistry, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to the open mics, and all the ones that are going, all the ones that have come and gone. Like everything has played a part in the culture, and I just want to continue to see that grow personally, you know what I mean? So
hell yeah. Q5, thank you for coming through, bro.
Thank you for having me, man. I hope this
great
was a good
combo, because
interview.
I'm inspired by your story. I want to see what else you got coming up next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep going crazy.
Yeah, keep a lookout for me tonight.
Yeah, if you guys are watching this, come out to a Cipher Tuesdays, to a Slow Jam, to a 25 mics at Down and Gross in Newport News.
Yo.
We don't really have many things on this side of the water, so that's cool that you're doing that at Down and Gross. That's like downtown Newport News.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We'll put all bros links in the description.
Word.
Is there anything else you want to touch on that's going to lead the people with?
Yo, we having a slow jam on Thanksgiving Eve. 80-20 Burger Bar in Norfolk. But it's neither here nor there. But yeah, come out if you can. It's free. That's a free event. But really, if I could leave you with anything, I always try try to leave an uplift. So if nobody told you today you're important, your voice matters, your story matters, you're worthy of love, you deserve love.
Talking to you, Karen.
You know what I'm saying? I got mad love for you. The Off-World Podcast loves you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
come on.
We're happy you're here. And, it's an honor to be alive at the same time as you. Real rap. And to share space with you. So, yeah, keep living, keep fighting. And more so than anything, you know the mantra. And if you don't, drop it here. Like, find your thing, do your thing, share it with the world. Again, find your thing, do your thing, share it with the world. You know what I mean? We only got a certain amount of breaths. Make sure you're using them to get out there and do your part. You know what I'm saying? We all got a role to play. So help things move along.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Peace.
Come on.